Welcome back to another cycling tips video, this time from the start village of Paris-Roubaix Femmes 2022. And first up, we've got quite a special bike which Trek says doesn't really exist yet. The Trek Domane, from what we can tell, Mark IV. This is the new Domane that is as of yet unreleased. Trek are making no comments about it as of yet, but it is clearly an update to the bike which won the inaugural, the 2021 Paris-Roubaix Femmes. So this new bike, it looks rather similar to the outgoing or the current Domane, but there is quite a few subtle differences which make for an entirely new frame. Most notably is the ISO-speed decouplers, which were Trek's way of introducing a bit of compliance, a bit of smoothing out the rough surfaces that you might find on some roads. Trek have done away with the front ISO-speed entirely. It's gone from the head tube there of the Domane. As for the seat post ISO-speed decoupler, well, that's completely changed as well. Trek aren't giving us any details on exactly what the new system entails, but we can see that the seat post mast that used to exist on the Domane, also on the Madone and Imonda from Trek, is now gone. They've gone for a more traditional seat post setup, albeit with a D shape, which should add in a little bit of compliance there to give the Domane its sort of road smoothing characteristics that it's famous for. Maybe also introduce a little bit more aero, who knows. But there is still definitely some ISO speed system inside of this frame. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but we can see under the top tube there is still a 4mm hex key bolt to adjust it in some ways. Speaking of Aero Tweaks, the seat tube itself is now much more of a flat back truncated sort of style that we know sort of provides a bit of an aero benefit. The down tube is also rather different from the current Domane. Looks like a much more aero shape also. And notably the bottom bracket area is much taller, which again should improve a bit of stiffness, but also just improves the aero profile of that whole area quite considerably. Cable routing is still entirely internal. Trek have moved the hoses from entering the head tube behind the stem to entering the head tube in front of the stem. Makes for a much neater setup. Speaking of that head tube, it's also got quite considerably deeper. Again, that's a move that we've seen a lot of brands make recently. Again, presumably just increases the aero profile of that front end. Forks looking very much the same, but one interesting note we have seen here is that each of the bikes that the Trek-Segafredo riders will ride today actually not only has their race number plate on the bike, but also has their race number on the seat tube. And the paint is actually a decal on the bike, so presumably going to get to keep these bikes after the finish today. Who knows, they're not going to be of much use next year unless they've got the exact same riders starting with the exact same numbers. So that's one interesting note. They've also got a couple of other tweaks here. Some of the riders have like a checkered flag on the fork, other riders have a crown on the fork. Of course, Trek's components brand, Bontrager, provides the stem, provides the isocore handlebars, which are also said to reduce vibration through the handlebars by 20% compared to a normal handlebar. And also the wheels, the Bontrager Aeolus wheels here. Now, Pirelli came on board with Trek-Segafredo this year as a named sponsor. They've got their name on the jersey now, but they've also brought these rather F1-esque, F1 looking tyres with the thick yellow band on the sidewall there. I guess just to stand out a bit more, but it also looks pretty cool to me. I don't know if this is a soft compound, medium compound, hard compound that they're using here, but it certainly stands out. As for the size of those tyres, they are 30mm wide and they're running a tubeless setup today, which seems to be the norm pretty much across the whole start village this morning. So there you have it, the brand new Trek Domane, not Domane, unreleased Domane. Trek saying nothing. What do you think? Have you spotted anything about this bike that I have missed? Let us know in the comments section below. Of course, don't forget to ring that bell, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos from Paris-Roubaix 2022.